Welcome to another episode of Unscripted Exchanges. I'm your co-host, Cole.
And I am your host or co-host, Hayden Huber.
Dude, you're the co-host. I'm glad there's couch between us.
Hey, we've been fighting over this, and we'll continue to fight over this.
Nobody voted on my who wore the blue shirt better. I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, that's all right.
Maybe that was a bad survey to take.
We'll have to get better on those questions, those surveys that we throw out there.
We'll just move it on up. So today, Hayden, I'm gonna jump into what you brought up to me earlier that I thought would be fun to talk about is side hustles and making some I mean, first of all, I guess to start that off, let's talk about side hustles. I'm going to ask you a question. What's your definition of a side hustle? Like, how do you define that?
Yeah, great question. To me, a side hustle is anything you want it to be, but it is something that helps bring in additional income. So it could be something that you really enjoy doing. I mean, more times than not, I would recommend doing something that you enjoy doing, and the money is an added bonus. So it's not primarily your number one income maker, but it's something that you kind of do on, again, like the side, to supplement some money each month. And then eventually maybe it could turn into something that does become, your primary source of income, but you got to start somewhere. You don't always want to maybe dive completely head in, especially if, you don't know if it's going to survive, which sounds very dark and dreary to set it up like that. But again, you want to just test things out and make sure that you're still staying focused on your day job as well. But this is just something to kind of do on the side, hence the name.
So, yeah, I would agree with that. So you're basically your way you look at it is a side hustle's something that you can make money doing, but it's not your main source of income.
Correct.
Yeah, it's almost like icing on the cake, right? Or like sprinkles on the ice. Probably starts off as sprinkles. It's not quite the icing. It's the sprinkles on the icing, and then maybe it turns into the icing, and then eventually could become the cake.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I didn't want to agree with that because I just don't really care for cake. But yeah, it's an accurate way of putting it.
You just take it to that? He's like, I don't like cake, so I don't like his analogy. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, people are like, shut up.
Yeah. No, I would say that, I mean, generally speaking, that's kind of the way I look at it too, is side hustles are, again, a way to make money. I mean, the whole goal of it from the way I look at it as side hustles is creating like passive income opportunities. But I think there's two different kinds of those, because you've got a side hustle where you have to put the actual work in and then get results, which is not necessarily passive income. And then there's opportunities like buying real estate and having like a rental management company take care of that for you. That's something that I would consider like passive income, because to me, passive income is like you don't have to do much. It's just money flowing in.
Yeah, like autopilot. You get that check at the end of the month or the week, whatever. I
would say like this what we're doing right here is a side hustle that we want to grow. Like right now it's a side hustle, and by definition it's a side hustle because it's not our main source of income.
Correct.
It's something we're working on outside of that to not only like augment and add to our main income stream, but to grow. And obviously like every side hustle is going to be different. We have certain plans for our side hustle. At the end of the day, it's a side hustle. And I think the word I love in that frame, side hustle, what do you think my favorite word is? Hustle. A side hustle. That's why they call it a side hustle.
I think that's your middle name, isn't it?
Hustle, baby. Hustle. No, I think that's like so key to any project you take on the outside of what your main source of income is like the only, like, you got, if you're gonna do it, like, that's taking a lot of hustle. It's taking a lot of effort.
Yeah, I think one thing that I'll add to that is there's just no wrong side hustle that you could have. You can go out and do whatever you put your mind to it. I know that's a cliche saying, but do something that you're passionate about or that sparks your interest, and give it a shot. You'll never know if you don't try. That's kind of what we're doing here with podcasting. I mean, you and I didn't really have a background in media like this, but we're diving on in and we're doing pretty good thus far. And I also wanted to share that although this is not our primary source of income, I have a very strong belief and good feeling that this might one day become our top source of income.
I'm going to say what you say. 1,000%.
Look at that. He's hanging out with me too much.
1,000%.
1,000,000%.
Okay. Thanks for upping me again. No, I would say, like, yeah, I agree with that, Hayden. And I think to the point of, like, it can be, there's so many different things. Again, I feel like we constantly go, oh, everything's relative, everything's subjective. Things are, there's so many opportunities, there's so many different tools. Those are like revolving themes that we have throughout the entire, every single episode. Like, it's probably been mentioned, one of those has been mentioned in every single episode. And I think that, first of all, speaks to, like, our belief system and how we, like, our brains work, where we're like, oh, there's always there's a will, there's a way, right? You can figure it out. But I also think there is a lot of that in side hustles. When you say, people get scared of that. People go, oh, I don't, you know what I mean? People go, I just don't know if I have time for a side hustle, and I don't know what to do. And it's like, if you don't have time, you don't have time. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Because if you're going to have a side hustle, it's going to take a lot of hustle. You're going to have to give up hours. You're going to have to give up time. But, I mean, there's so many. You'd be surprised if you really went. I'm going to challenge our listeners. Go out and ask some of your friends, some colleagues of yours, some mentors. Go ask if they've ever had a side hustle or currently have a side hustle. Say, do you do anything other than your main job to generate income? I would bet you over 50% of them do. You would be surprised how many people take contract work, do freelance stuff, sell stuff on, like, Facebook Marketplace, buy stuff and flip things. Uber, you would be so shocked. I meet people all the time that, like, I would have no clue. Because it's not like they're going and posting about it and stuff. But they're hustling. Yeah,
no, I totally agree with you on that. It's pretty remarkable knowing the people that I'm connected with that do have side hustles. And also want to add, we're not shitting or looking down on people that don't have side hustles. That's completely fine too. Some people are fully immersed in their day job, and that's what fulfills them, which is great. But for those that want to take on additional opportunities, look into a side hustle. And side hustles don't happen overnight in terms of, building out that strategy and actually executing. But I will say that speaking from experience, I learned through action versus, reading a book or taking an online course. Don't get me wrong, those do help to some degree, but I do learn more by actually going out, executing, and learning through action.
Well, and I think the key point to hit there is that, like, it's not going to happen overnight. Don't feel like, we're not sitting here like shaming you. Like, if you don't have a side hustle, you're a loser. Like, no, we're talking about side hustles because it's what we're doing, and it's pretty awesome, and there's a lot of opportunity out there.
I think you almost, sorry to cut you off, but I think you almost have to do a side hustle, or at least a lot of people feel that way, just because of, like, the economy and where it is, and, like, you want to make sure that you're bringing home enough money to support yourself and your family. I mean, we're living in, like, the gig economy too. Everyone wants to do, like, the Uber driving here and there, or picking up packages and delivering them, which, so be it. They help bring home, an extra couple $100 a month, and that helps them, take care of the family.
Think about this. Like, it's a time thing, too. We can always tie back in time.
True.
To that point, it's, for me, like, could I justify not spending my time on this by spending the time with my wife and my kids and this? Absolutely. And that's my own personal decision. But would I be maybe doing, like, the way my brain works for me, Hayden, is that I want to have something I'm sinking my teeth into, and ultimately, like, generate extra income, so that way we can have, right now it's sprinkles and icing on the cake. Any income we make off of this gets to go, probably for us, we'll go right back into this for now to continue to grow it. But then when when we start bringing in some of these brand deals, these brands we're talking to, and some of these, like, sponsors and the stuff that's in the works, like, that's vacation money. That's that's backyard projects that we don't have to go pull out of any savings or any investment funds or anything like that. It's money we're generating that's icing on the cake that we can use for that stuff. So for me, I think side hustles are a great way to spend your time if you've got time to spend, right? If you're going around, and this is a little judgy, but if you're going home and watching TV from 6:30 to 10:30 every single night, not doing anything else, you've got time for a side hustle. Just saying. Don't make excuses. But again, it's just relative, again, to a certain degree. And so I think for me, it's like I got the time to do it. I'll make the time. And there's just a lot of, again, opportunities out there. And I think one of the points I wanted to make when you were talking about strategizing and it's going to take time, I would disagree with that a little bit, because you can have a side hustle where you're doing exactly what you do for a living as like a freelancer. Like if you're a graphic designer and you work for a design company, as long as you're not competing with them, 9 times out of 10, like you're perfectly okay to go out and do graphic work for, let's say, a startup, right? Or another company or a restaurant chain. And so that way, then you can go, okay, if I like what I'm doing for a day job, how can I leverage that to make a little bit more money outside of that? Right.
No, I agree with that. I'm glad, though, that you brought up, like, you got to make sure that there's no non-compete clause. And
100%.
Competing with, people that you normally would work with as part of your day job. You got to be careful there. But, yeah, leveraging kind of what you already do and double down on that, and also just double dip, make additional money because that's what you excel at. Yeah, totally. I mean, I would say that there's no better time than now to start a side hustle if you're interested in starting a side hustle. I mean, there are millions of opportunities out there. I see something new every day on Instagram kind of promoting, hey, you can make money doing X, Y, and Z. Now, sure, some of it does seem a little too good to be true, but that's where it at least piques your interest, and you could do a little bit more research and determine whether or not that's something you want to look into. I mean, just some ideas to throw out there to some of our listeners. I mean, look, everyone wants to start like an online merch business or a clothing business, and I did that, 6 years ago that I've talked about before. You could start a t-shirt company, try to sell merch. That's, a no-brainer there for a lot of people. You could also start to sell online courses or ebooks, even if they're positioned at like 99 cents. I mean, you sell 10,000 of those, that adds up. Things like that. And that is, again, an example of passive income where you spend all this upfront time investing in your service or your product, but then you're basically off the hook when it's done, and people continue to buy that at any point in time.
People can consume it, basically. Mm-hmm. I wanted to bring up lost my train of thought. I'll come back to it.
Yeah, so those are two ideas. Another idea would be flipping items and selling it online, whether that's through eBay, Amazon, Etsy, or even looking into drop shipping, where you can buy products at wholesale prices and, again, sell them on some of the bigger platforms. The one thing that I would recommend doing is looking at some of the trends and figuring out, okay, which products are very popular, and there's plenty of sites out there. I mean, there's no formula that's going to basically lay it out in front of you, but there are some sites out there that will kind of help give you a ballpark in terms of some popular industries and things that maybe people would be buying, and that can help you start with, okay, maybe I should invest, X number of dollars in this particular product or this particular industry, and then trying to sell it at retail price and making money there.
You know what got really hot for a while, and I feel like it still is? Candle making.
Yeah.
I feel like I saw like a whole rage of like all these people, and I knew some people that bought like the at-home candle making kits and were making candles and selling them on Etsy and making decent money at it. I mean, they were selling, $5 or $6 cost, and they were selling them for $18-19. I thought that was super simple too. You don't have to have a lot of upfront costs to do it. I like your mention about basically like did you mention Fulfilled by Amazon? You mentioned that, didn't you?
I mean, not exactly, but yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good one. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm an expert.
Neither of us are.
Like, that's a side hustle we're digging deep, and like Hayden and I we've kicked this around a little bit about talking about that. I know my mom is shout out Karen Hazenfield, love you, happy Mother's Day. She actually has her own Amazon stores, and it's really cool. I'm still learning about it.
We'll have to have her on.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. She has actually got, I think, one open right now. She's got 2 or 3 more that are being opened soon, and it's dropped. She doesn't have to touch a product. It literally goes from Amazon warehouse to customer, never has to see a product.
Basically, she's just financing the products, and then Amazon's taking
pretty
care of
neat.
it.
It's a pretty awesome setup.
Do you know what type of product she sells, by the way?
They have the company that she worked with. I can't think of the name, but there's some companies out there now that actually does all the research, does all the analytics, and picks, like, says, hey, here's the hot like segments right now. Here's what you should go on. So her store right now that's open is health and fitness, like nutritional stuff,
Heck
vitamins,
yeah.
that sort of stuff, beauty products. That stuff's really hot right now. It's only been open for like a few months because they took a lot of time to like get the inventory and set it all up. But it's super neat. So again, there's a side hustle that can generate a lot, and that's a passive income thing for my mom. Yes, she had to finance a lot of it up front, but Amazon handles all sales tax for you as well. I don't know if you knew that. So something I learned. So like for 48 of the 50 states. So she's shipping all over continental U.S. and outside, but Amazon takes their cut out. They take the sales tax and everything and manage all of that, and she just literally gets like whatever the profit is sent to her.
Wow, that's nice.
It's super.
They streamline it.
It's streamlined. I mean, it's basically like she has to go in to this portal and like sometimes certain PO if they're like really high big orders. Well, other than that, like it's hands off.
I love that.
It's pretty dope.
I want to have her on because I want to learn more about that and just more about your mom and everything that she's done growing up and to where she is today.
Yeah,
because I know she's got a pretty cool story, as well as your pops too. You know,
it was his birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday to Mr. Hazenfield out there.
Happy birthday, Jay Sizzle. Oh. No, I think another one I wanted to mention, I thought I was going to say earlier, was Fiverr. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I ran into it a couple years ago, but apparently like it's a really big platform to use.
Yeah, I've seen a YouTube channel where basically it goes around asking millennials like how much money they're making, and this girl, I just remember this pretty vividly, this girl used Fiverr to basically just be a consultant and do all of this work, and she's making like $250,000 a year, which is absurd. And I think what she's doing is copyright work. So basically she writes for like brands.
Really? Yeah. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but like she's gotten it down to like a science where she's able to just turn around like, I don't know what the word count was, but let's say 500 words in like, I don't know, 5 minutes, and she gets paid, a decent amount. I mean, she's making good money.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I'll have to go check that out tonight.
And that's actually another example of a side hustle that I've seen too. Like you can literally transcribe things for people or help improve like AI to get better at that, and you can get paid. So
might not be that glamorous.
Sure.
But simple way to make money.
Exactly, yeah. Or you can also get paid for being a storyteller, meaning you can read an audiobook. Now, you have to submit a... Yeah.
You just got my attention.
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, there's millions of ideas, and I am not kidding when I say millions of ideas to make money. So if you are struggling with, well, I do want to do a side hustle, but I'm not sure what to do, literally just do a quick Google search and look up, what are some popular side hustles to have in the year 2022. And I guarantee you'll find hundreds, if not thousands, of articles. And again, you can spend your time figuring out which one makes the most sense for you. And that's kind of where I've stumbled upon some of these ideas. And I've also been catered some of these via Instagram. Like I follow an account or two. Now, again, some of these probably might seem a little bit too good to be true in terms of the people that are saying, oh, yeah, I'm making X number of dollars a month. It's like, are you really? I mean, they're probably making, money, but are they really making that type of money? But
well, people always
exaggerate.
Yeah. Totally. And there's a reason why you're doing all these LinkedIn ads to get other people to pay you for you to show them, I mean, to a certain degree.
How many ads do you think are misleading? or maybe let me backtrack. How many ads do you think are just completely wrong?
You want a funny story about that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Seriously? I know I tell a lot of stories.
Did you run an ad that got taken down?
No.
Okay.
No. So we were, this was, I think Ava was like 6. So almost, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years. And we were at the OmniMax.
Okay, yeah, the big theater.
Yeah, and before they played the like thing we were there to see, I think it was like the volcano one or something, they had like a couple commercials play before it, and one of them was, I think it was like a Jeep Wrangler or something like that. Jeep Wrangler, Chevrolet Silverado. It was one of those two.
Sure.
And it was this whole like, it was this big commercial, and like they were off-roading and like camping and like fishing, and then they like the end of it, they say like, they show the cards and say like the message. She goes, I can't stand when people show you stuff and it has nothing to do with what they're actually trying to sell you. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it irritates her. She said that several times. She's like, just if you're gonna add, she's like, if you're gonna, so she understands. We talk about this. She understands marketing, sales. When we open our horse farm, I'm the sales guy. She's the operations. We've always already made that very clear, because she says I'm a talker. So she says, you're a talker, Dad, so you can be our salesperson.
I love it.
I said, great, I'm in. But again, it's just a funny story, because she was like, I mean, this was like, she was young enough, and she's still young, but you were just like, man, I totally, like, I'm vibing with that comment. I totally agree.
She's wise beyond her years.
She is. She's like, that just really, it really bothered her. She told my wife about it too.
Really?
She was like, I just don't like it, Mom. I just like, join the club.
Yeah, no, I mean, I to answer my own question, I would say that there's a lot of misleading or just completely wrong advertisements out there, and be careful. Don't always take things at face value is, I guess, my recommendation.
Like
with that.
clickbait, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we're all guilty of probably pushing something out there that's clickbait, meaning like you have a catchy title and it might not always match your content, which that might work once or twice, and then eventually people are going to be like, okay, I know what this is. This is just, they're trying to get me to click on it, and then it's complete crap. And you see that all the time with like, these articles online where they promise to show you like the top 10 most amazing places to travel to, and then you click on it and it's like, spam or something like that.
Right. Or they've got 7 ads in between them.
Yeah.
Like, buy this.
Right.
Click, fill out the survey to see the next best favorites. Like,
super frustrating.
JD, you're showing me like, Louisville, Kentucky. Like, sorry, that's not the top 10 to visit in the U.S.
Totally. Yeah.
Toledo. Who wants to go to Toledo?
Sorry for anyone that's living in Toledo and they enjoy it.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
I'm apologizing for Cole, even though he's not sorry. They
should annex that to Michigan.
So something else that we were talking about over the phone earlier today, and it was just kind of a spontaneous thought, and I haven't really given it much thought either, so we might need to do some quick thinking here. But the world's come a long way over the past 100 years or so. A lot of new stuff. New stuff comes out almost daily. What are some of your favorite things that you can't live without, or like even more specific, like are there any favorite inventions that you think have impacted and changed like civilization? I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is obviously like the iPhone or smartphones. Like that's really revolutionized the way that we consume information and get information. Like think of, even we're still relatively young, but when we were in like grade school, like we still had to look up things in like encyclopedias, and I mean we were just starting on the cusp of like having access to the internet and being able to get information a lot quicker. But now like you literally have information in your pocket, anything that you want practically. Now, again, it's all about deciphering between what is actually true versus what is maybe not 100% accurate, or again, just completely flat out wrong. But again, it's been so powerful having smartphones. So I'd say that's the first thing that comes to mind in terms of like what has, changed the world for probably the better. There's definitely some downsides, and we've shared that before with social media. But do you have anything that comes to mind for you, or maybe any like products that are in your life that you enjoy?
A few.
Yeah, fire away.
So I have a few and they're kind of like product / innovations, maybe processes. I would think one of the first one that comes to mind that has made our lives a lot better, at least in the United States, in a country that's generally more well off financially than the rest of the world. Not everybody is, but generally speaking, we have access to pretty much whatever we want. Is clothing. And by clothing, I mean sports gear. So T-shirts, hats, leggings, shoes, the kind of materials we're using and the processes they're using to not only make the material like either more breathable or warmer. Like I just bought some Sitka gear for hunting, and dude, it's like one of them is like this like literally super light pullover that looks like just a small sweatshirt, like one of those but it's as warm as my winter jacket, and it's like this then, right? So that's like, to me, that's like innovative. Like we've come so far with our processes for making clothes that we're able to like make clothes that not like last longer, that are more breathable, less breathable, stretchier, less stretchy.
Like the moisture wicking, like the Nike stuff, dry fit. Yeah.
Like that to me, that's super slick,
Totally.
super cool.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. Another one. So I'm piggybacking off of the iPhone comment, but with two different things.
Okay.
First one is, you mentioned iPhone and having that internet, dude, having a phone, like a computer at your fingertips. The World Wide Web's come a long way, but the support and infrastructure and technology that's gone into place to be able to support us doing that, like 5G and Wi-Fi. I mean, even a in-home Wi-Fi and the pipes and the transport to get them there. Like, dude, think about even when we were in high school 10 years ago. Oh, it's been 10 years. They didn't 100 megabits at your house. Like, that was unheard of.
Right.
I mean, now I'm pulling a gig.
Do you remember having like dial-up internet?
Yeah.
Like, I had that too. Like whenever someone called the home line, it's like, shit, I'm getting bounced from
Literally,
the computer.
Dude, we had landlines then. People actually use landlines. Maybe some people still do, but like now most of the time those are just in offices. But that, to me, like the availability, that's made our lives, I think, better and worse. Because better because it gives us more access to everything all the time. And makes us just put the screen in front of our face. But that's a negative. But it's just crazy that we've gone that far so quickly.
Totally.
And then this is a little bit more technical for you. I think voice technology, specifically voice over IP, has come light years.
Oh yeah.
Like the fact.
Shout out to AI and machine learning. And if Andy Ruther's listening, he's probably terrified of robots taking over.
Well, voice over IP, like our iPhones, like anytime you make a FaceTime call or you make a call off Wi-Fi or you make just a call over 5G now in general, it's a lot clearer. It's transferred a lot faster.
Yep.
And dude, 10 years ago, like voice over IP was very, very hard to achieve. Like you could do it, but it took X amount more of infrastructure, took this much more technology. It really wasn't like a widespread thing. And now, I can go in here and call somebody on our Google phone right from our laptop, and it's going to be clear as that.
Yeah. I thought you were also mentioning like smart speakers, like
100%.
querying via search too.
Yeah. That's another great one.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Like you can ask, I'm not going to say the name because it's going to go off, but
Hey Google.
No, don't do that. I'm tired of hearing that thing.
Didn't respond.
Good.
Doesn't like me.
I made sure that it won't talk to you. But things like that, you can ask it. I'm not going to say anything, but I mean, you can, but sometimes it's not going to return the result that you want. But that has definitely come a long way. Even just over the last 2 or 3 years that I've seen tremendous improvements in the results that are served back up via voice. And I know it's making it a lot easier for people out there, especially like working moms or families, like whenever they're cooking. And I have a prime example because I bought my mom a gift a few years back where it was a Google kitchen thing or a Google Home in the kitchen.
Right.
And she uses that for like recipes, and she's able to just verbally ask for it, and like it, throws it up on the screen. It just makes her life a lot easier
That's
than
awesome.
Yeah, having to pull out a laptop and search for things. So that's, again, just one specific use case. Things like that where we kind of take for granted now, but I mean, it's amazing to see how far we've come just over the last 10 years, as you mentioned.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Think about this, too. And I only have one example of it, but I know there's more. Well, I mean, you have one. Shout out to, who is the company that you got your sauna from?
Oh, High Tech Health, man.
High Tech. Okay, I couldn't remember it.
He's trying to whisper because he did forget. Hey, I forget, too.
Well, shout out to High Tech Health for not only the quality of your sauna that you just got. It's unbelievable. I tried it out the other day. Phenomenal. And got an amazing sweat in. But the fact that you were able to get it so quickly with such a high quality and that kind of technology that they're using was not available 10, 15 years ago to the general public. So what I'm saying is the commercialization of a lot of like health and fitness stuff, health specifically, and like medical grade stuff, like sensor technology, at home testing, that sort of thing has come so far. Totally.
Like stuff that what you're describing used to be just reserved for like big companies, or like in the health and wellness space specifically, going back to like the sauna, like that's become more mainstream for residential use, and it's becoming more cost effective. Now it's still definitely an investment, but it's a little bit more reasonable for those that do have the money to make an investment like that, versus having to go pay a monthly fee to go to a sauna and get
a gym membership just because you want a sauna.
Yeah,
like I had one of those for the longest time.
No, I mean I'm sure people do just for that reason, but yeah, no. If you
Hayden's
guys
making me pay him to use this.
If you guys are interested, though, I'm glad that you brought that up. In a sauna, please give High Tech Health a look. They have the best sauna, and I did hours of research. I like to always make sure that what I invest in is best, not only for me, but for those that use it. So I'm putting my name out there and on the line. I recommend High Tech Health saunas. They are so good. They help calm me down. They help me stay relaxed. They improve my cardiovascular system. I mean, the list goes on and on. For a full list of benefits, you can head over to High Tech Health Sauna and see everything that they have to offer. I have an infrared one. I'm pretty sure all of their models are infrared. A lot of good studies out there about the benefits. So head over there, and if you do make a purchase, drop the promo code unscripted exchanges or use my name, Hayden Huber, and you'll get $300 off your purchase. And that can be stacked on top of an ongoing promotion, which is quite the deal, Cole.
Boom.
So
Boom.
If you're interested in making life changes to improve your health, check out High Tech Health Sauna today.
Thanks, Hayden. You wrapped that up nicely.
Yeah.
Well, I say we wrap it up for the day. What do you think?
You done? You tired?
I feel good.
I am too.
Why do you gotta throw me in the spot
I'm playing
like that?
with you because I wanted to see how you react. Like, come on now. You've been around me enough now where I do like to stir the pot a little bit just to get a reaction.
I'm hard to get a reaction out of it. You won't ever get a negative reaction out of it.
No, that I will not. Cole is literally the most positive person I've ever met, which is awesome. And I kind of knew that too. And that's why I wanted to partner with him. And we make a good recipe for success, as they say.
Boom, boom. Shake the room.
We're crushing it over here.
Shake and bake.
Well, since you opened, I will kick things off then to sign us off. Yeah, thank you guys, as always, for tuning on in. We can't thank you enough. We are continuing to learn from you all. Get great feedback. Please continue to reach out to us. Post stuff in the comments, what you liked, what you didn't like, anything that you want us to dive deeper into, any upcoming topics. As Cole and I have mentioned, we have some awesome guests in the pipelines here. So great content still in the queue. And have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys.